In this video, I'm going to list out 10 things that Brawl Stars could do this year to make the game better than ever before. Now, it's no revelation that Brawl Stars has been kind of on a downward trend since the last update. And from the players I've talked to and in my comment section, people haven't been super happy about gears and the massive amount of new progression that they would need to reach max level. And as far as I can tell, it's not so much that people are unhappy with the progression grind itself. I think the biggest gripe is that it's just not a particularly it's just not particularly interesting or even a fun grind. It's just stale. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Brawl Stars. I play it every single day. In fact, I pushed a bunch of trophies recently because I've been having a ton of fun playing the game, but that doesn't mean that there isn't room for improvement. Now, there's one overriding thing that all of the suggestions I'm about to make have in mind, and that is fun. Currently in the game, we have competitive modes like Power League and Club League and Ladder, but for the more casual players, these modes kind of seem like a chore, honestly. And in my estimation, what Brawl Stars needs is to revamp and overhaul the fun in Brawl Stars. So let's take a look at some ways that I think that Brawl Stars could make the game even more fun this year than they ever have before. Now, these are in no particular order, except for number 1, I think is not only very likely to happen, but also pretty important. And then number 10 is a big, wild idea that will blow your mind. Check this out. Number 1, a map maker overhaul. Now, I don't think that I'm alone in thinking that 99.9% of the maps that you play in the random map of the day are just copy-paste stupid 1 like equals free legendary. They're all kind of just blah, man. And so I think that what Brawl Stars needs to do here, and this is something that I think that they will do, hopefully this year, is to revamp the map maker to give the players more tools to be able to be creative, because if you put the creativity in the hands of the players that they can actually do something with, because right now the map maker is pretty limited, I think that they'll get some amazing results. Specifically, what I'm thinking is that players could create their own custom game modes. I'm not talking about the ones that we already have, but I'm talking about completely new and custom game modes. Make a fun dodgeball game or something that you could do on a Brawl Stars map, but like unlock it, like give us more tools, more options, so that we can really create something that'll be unique and fun, rather than just the same old, you jump on a launch pad to the center and you're in the water and you all kill each other and you farm requests, GG's. Because that is, while I love playing the random maps of the day, they're a lot of fun, you know, it only takes you so far enough to go watch my next video, which is going to be random Brawlers and Solo Showdown. It's actually fun. You better watch that. Now, the next thing on my list is get rid of the weekend game modes. I'm talking about Boss Fight, Robo Rumble, and what is it, Big Game? Let's be honest. I bet you 95% of the players who play those game modes just do it to get their 5 quests done, and then they don't play it anymore. So what I would propose is to get rid of that button altogether. Create a new button, and in this special new button, you have all these game modes that the Brawl Stars teams has tried, and just have them cycling. So I'm talking about like basketball, volleyball, invisible brawlers, duels, hold the trophy, big game, all the normal weekend modes, and just all of these random things that they've tried over the years. Put them in one big pool, and like every 12 hours they cycle, so you'll always have some cool, fun thing to come back and play, rather than just, I'm gonna go beat this boss again just because I need the 100 tokens. Give us like 20 game modes in one tab. That would be fun. Like, always something different to play. Come on, Brawl Stars. Not only would this be fun, but it would also give Brawl Stars some information on which game modes people like the best, so that if they see an overwhelming support for like basketball, which I totally think should come back as a permanent game mode this year, I think it needs to happen. I would like to see a 2v2 basketball as well. So it would give the dev team more information on which game modes that people like the best and are playing the most again, as well as it doesn't even have to be for trophies. It could just be for fun, because that's what we need in the game right now, is more excitement, more fun, more fresh new stuff constantly coming at you. Number 3, how many times have you logged into the game ready to play some whatever your favorite mode is? Let's say Brawl Ball, and you load it in and you look at the Brawl Ball map and it's like, oh, it's that map. So here is my idea. whenever you press the game mode button, you're presented with 2 separate maps, and these maps should ideally be quite different from each other anyways, and you could choose which map you wanted to play. Say you loaded in, you're like, cool, do I want to play Cavern Churn or do I want to play Rockwall Brawl? You know, they're 2 very separate maps. Different brawlers can work good on each one. I think this would be great for giving the players a choice. However, I do think that it comes with some drawbacks as well. Mainly is matchmaking, because they would have separate matchmaking pools, especially if you're playing a map that nobody really liked as much. It might be a hard time getting some matchmaking. However, the dev team would probably be able to quickly identify those maps that like nobody's choosing, nobody wants to play this. Let's just get rid of that and replace it with a better map that people do want to play. That would be pretty cool. Number 4 is, well, kind of obvious, but it still really needs to happen, and that is a 5v5 game mode. And I think that it will happen. Danny even mentioned it in an interview that we did with him. We did a Reddit video with Trickshot and Kairos and Danny, and he mentioned this 5v5 game mode as well as some other really cool things that I think a lot of the things that he mentioned in that video, they're going to start seeing some trickle-down effect coming in this year too. So if you want some more insight on that, go watch that video. It's a rather long one, but it links right there in the description. But this game mode needs to happen because it would just be so much fun. The options would be really expanded with this. I think that would be a blast. Please, Brawl Stars, make a 5v5 mode. Please, I'm begging you, please. Now, number 5 on my list is something that has been long overdue, actually. It's actually been tried twice in Brawl Stars. Once it's still in, and that is interactive map features. The only one that we've got right now is the minecarts. Some people love them, some people hate them. I find them kind of annoying, but you know, it is what it is. It's still something unique that goes through the map. They did this once before with Daryl's ship. Whenever it would, you know, like go side to side and you would like slide, or, you know, it'd be harder to run in one direction. That was an interactive map feature that, well, again, most people kind of hated that one. But there are some examples that I think that would be really fun. And actually, most of them come from World of Warcraft, the ones that I'm thinking of. For instance, in the arenas in World of Warcraft, there's a few different maps. One's called Ring of Valor, which has these pillars that raise from the ground, as well as like fire that shoots out of these vents in the ground as well. There's also one called Circle of Blood, which has this bridge that goes up and over where you can either go under the bridge or somebody can run up on top of it. I think this would be really cool. And in the interview that I mentioned before that Danny was in, he said that one of the developers who's no longer with the team had the idea of using bridges in the game, where like sometimes the bridges would be open, sometimes they would be closed. And so this makes the map interactive, and it changes how you would play depending on how that bridge is open or closed. That would be really cool, and I think Brawl Stars really does need to add some more spice to the maps in terms of interactive maps. I think that would be really great. Number 6 isn't so much a game feature, but more like kind of like a observation really, and that is that there's been so many like higher rarity brawlers coming out lately. It's like every time we see a brawler, it's almost always like an epic, a mythic, or a legendary. I think that we really need to start seeing some lower rarity brawlers, especially for the free-to-play players, because when was the last time we had a rare brawler? Was it Rosa? Like, there's only 4 of them. I'm sure free-to-play players especially would really enjoy having a brawler that they could get a little bit easier. So Brawl Stars, I know that they create the brawler and then they say, okay, this brawler kind of feels like a mythic brawler, and they put him in a mythic category. It doesn't have to be a dull brawler. It doesn't have to be a bad one or an uninteresting brawler, but I think we need some more accessible brawlers, especially since now that the game economy is so deep because of the massive progression gap that we have now. You can afford to not make so much off of one brawler. Give some people some a little bit easier options to obtaining some of the brawlers. I think that would be a really nice thing to do that would get people excited about getting a new brawler. Number 7 on my list, how do I say this? Well, gears suck. I don't know how else to say that. They just feel blah. Like, I was really excited for gears. I thought they were going to be awesome. In reality, it just turned into this massive resource sink that in the end, it's just like, yeah, I'm going to equip that one, and I'm just never really going to think about it anymore. And it's not exciting to get a gear and equip it. It's just like, cool, I run 15% faster in the bushes. Now, there definitely needs to be some things reworked about the gears in their present state, because I doubt they're just going to scrap them and move along. no pun intended. So there definitely needs to be some nerfs and buffs to these gears to make them, you know, more equal across the board. But that being aside, they're just uninteresting, not fun. It feels like a big money and resource sink without adding really anything to the game that makes it feel exciting and fun to play. Now, I know this won't mean much to 90% of you, as you're mostly all free-to-play players, but for those of you who do like to spend some money in the shop, either occasionally or, like me, a lot, if you do, use code LEX, please. The shop feels stale. I feel like we need something, and I don't know what that is. I'm not a game designer. I'm not a big idea kind of guy. I'm very simple. All I know is what I see in front of me feels very blah. I mean, it's just like, okay, I can buy a mega box, you know, and maybe I'll get a brawler. Maybe I'll probably just get PowerPoints. You know, the pins are cool. What's weird is I actually think opening pins is my favorite thing to do in the shop. I like getting pins because it's exciting to me. It's like, oh, cool. Which ones am I going to get? You know you're going to get something. What am I going to get? What does Brawl Stars do in the shop to make it more exciting and fun? I'm not exactly sure. Maybe some cosmetic items that, you know, you're guaranteed to get something like, I don't know, a new color of shoes. So you know you're going to get a new pair of shoes, and then you can like equip the different shoes on you. Like, Colt, today, buddy, you're wearing those pink shoes. I don't care if you like it or not. You're wearing the pink shoes, Colt. Weapons would have totally been better. Whatever, we're gonna roll with it. Just make something to make the shop feel more exciting, because right now, even if I was a free-to-play player, I wouldn't feel enticed into the shop other than skins and pins. Number 9, and this is just more of a thing that would be fun for around the community, and just a second, because number 10 is going to... Number 9 is really kind of more for the community than anything else, and that is lore. They just updated like the Star Park stream with all kinds of new stuff, like all these new sounds and a completely different vibe, and then it just kind of went away. We're all kind of like waiting for the return, and I hope it returns because it was a lot of fun, even though I probably only made a handful of videos on it. I know Ray did a bunch of videos and Kairos did a few theory videos. There was a lot of people that really enjoyed the lore of the game, and I think that was one thing that really separated Brawl Stars from a lot of other games, is no other games really did something like that. It was such a cool campaign. Bring it back, give us more lore, let us dig deeper, let us have some fun, let our imaginations run a little bit wild. I think that we need some more lore in the game. But number 10, and this one is out there. Now, this one is definitely going to be out there, and I'm like 99.99% sure this will probably never come to Brawl Stars, but this would be cool if it did. And that is this. If you've ever played any kind of MMORPG, you're kind of usually like in a city of some sort, and you walk around, you can see the other players, you know, you walk around, you can even chat with them, or you can interact with an NPC, you can go into different shops and whatnot, or go to different areas. What if Brawl Stars, you actually loaded into Star Park itself, and instead of just looking at a static screen, you actually controlled your character as you walked around Star Park? That would be freaking cool. Like, hey, what if I wanted to go to this shop? You could actually go to the gift shop and buy a mega box, or you could go to, you know, the Mortis's Mortuary and go into a game, or you could just like go over to some other section. I don't know. It's just, think of how cool that would be. Seriously, think of how cool that'd be if you could control your character around Star Park, interacting with other people, going to different attractions in the Star Park itself. Come on, that is like an opportunity right there. If you don't see this opportunity, Brawl Stars, you could make your game so freaking cool. Now, this is probably like a massive like thing that is just maybe too big to really do. They're totally not going to do it. But, you know, hey, big dreams, right? Who knows? Maybe someday. Maybe someday. But do you guys have bigger and better ideas? I would love to know in the comments down below what you think Brawl Stars could do in 2022 to make the game more fun. That's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, until next time, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out.